Is it a day-to-day thing, or are you trying to set goals and benchmarks as you go along?
No, it's both. It's both. We have our goals and benchmarks, but it's also day to day. Some days I'm making bigger gains than others. Some days we need to back it off a little bit. But as I said earlier to Doug here, is that we're pretty much past the strength phase now, and I got my strength where I want to have it. Now I just need to get my fast twitch going and get my speed back, and that's going to take a little bit of time. That's part of our second phase of training, and that's coming up now.
Ryan Elijah here with Fox in Orlando. Being 3 months away and you're not swinging a club, will this be your first competitive time back? Do you anticipate anything else? And is it hard not to put yourself on as competitive as you are, a timeline of I want to be here at this point, leading up to that?
Yeah, would I like to play? Yes, there's no doubt. I miss competing. I miss playing. I miss being out here with the guys. I miss all that, but I'm not physically ready for it yet. There's two components to it. Yeah, you can be. You can be strong, but I want to be back to where I used to be. I want to have that speed back again. This summer I had it for a little bit, and then it kind of deteriorated as I played. So it was nice to be able to shut it down, get stronger. Now I'm incorporating the speed element to it, and I'll start ramping up from there. And then once I get to that point where I feel comfortable doing that, then I got to get out there and do all the legwork on the range. Then eventually the golf course, and then ultimately under tournament conditions.
Bob?
Hey, Tiger. Bob Herrick from ESPN.com. Is it by design to not be hitting balls yet or practicing, or had you hoped to start by this point? And also, looking back, do you regret coming back, playing tournament golf this summer?
What was the first part, Bob? Sorry. Oh yeah, but it's by design. Yes, the design was to start making golf swings either late September or early October. Then if I started early October, I have 2 full months to prepare to play in the Hero World Challenge. So I'm right on the timeline. So that's perfect. As far as coming back this summer too soon. I felt good enough to do it, and only unfortunate part is I couldn't maintain the conditioning. I wasn't as conditioned as I needed to be. So as the tournament would wear on, I would get more and more fatigued and tired, and it wasn't as explosive, wasn't as strong, because I couldn't burn the candle at both ends. I couldn't lift the weights that I'm used to or accustomed to lifting, as well as playing and practicing. I just couldn't do all of it at the same time. So. Eventually, the game started to deteriorate a little bit, and because physically I wasn't in good enough shape to maintain it. So one of the reasons why we had this, our different phases we have in my conditioning program. This conditioning program is very similar to what I went through in 08 when I came back from my reconstructed knee. There's different phases to it, and eventually I get out there where I can start playing. I'm explosive, but also have the strength and endurance component to it as well.
Doug?
Are you, or will you be looking for a new coach? What will you be looking for in a new coach if you are? And the third part that I'm just curious about is, have you ever had, of any of your coaches, where you knew more about the swing than they did?
Am I looking for a new coach? No, as of right now, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to get physically better, stronger, faster, more explosive. As far as knowing more than my coaches, I would have to say they're, on a technical side, I probably don't know as much as some of them, but from a feel standpoint, that's something that I think that's innate, that because of what we're able to do at such an elite level, is that, yeah, I think I know a lot more than they do. Because they've never, played, down a stretch on the back nine of a major championship, never won majors, never felt that. And what do your hands feel? Where does your body feel? The things that we, as players at this level who've won enough times, understand and what it feels like. And I think that's something you can, you have to understand your practice sessions, that you got to be able to understand your practice sessions. Will it work those practice sessions, will they work on the back nine on Sunday of a major? Either yes or no. And I think that's one of the things that I've always tried to tell all my coaches, will it work or not work? And if it's not going to work, then we're not going down that road.
Tiger,
I'm in no hurry to look for one as of right now. As I said, I'm just focused on what I'm doing.
Tiger, George McNeely with Sports
Yeah.
Business Radio. Quick question. How gratifying is it 20 years into this wonderful career you've amassed to be able to introduce a brand from India to people in North America that a lot of probably never heard of, unless they're real motorcycle enthusiasts? The idea that, you know, you still move the needle. We know what you do on television ratings, and we know the fans flock to see you, but the idea that a title sponsor, in so many sports sponsorships, people are trying to hang on to what they have or find a North American company to write a check, and you went out across the world and found something fairly new to this genre.
Well, if you think about it, look at the title of our tournament, the World Challenge. It means the world. And, you know, Hero MotoCorp and what Mr. Munjal has done with his company has been remarkable. And it's a natural fit. You know, you look at all of our participants in the fields over the years, they've played from all over the world. You know, we've got guys from South Africa, from Australia, we've had guys from Canada, Paraguay. We've had them from everywhere. And golf is a global sport, and we wanted our tournament to be a global sport, a global tournament. And that's one of the reasons why we named it the World Challenge. Now with Hero on board, I think it just further cements that. And I think that with what Hero is doing around the world globally and their impact that they're having, I think it's a natural fit for us as a foundation that we can explore other options of expansion and how we can expand and maybe introduce satellite learning centers, not just here in the United States, but also around the world.
Hi, Tiger, Frank Shallow, Valencia Voice here, a local paper. I know you touched on the Rory comments a little bit, but having the partnership with him with Nike in the past little bit, and I know you've seen you making the rounds on Jimmy Fallon and whatnot, and obviously your passion and your drive to win and succeed is insurmountable, but just having him around and seeing the success he had this year, does that just push you even more? Or can you just touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, well, it's a different generation. You know, it's the guys that I played against in most of my career was Phil, VJ, Ernie, Goose, Patty. You know, those are probably the core guys that I played with or played against for the last 15, almost 20 years now. This is the next crop coming up. Rory being one, probably Jordan Spieth, Ricky. That's the next wave of guys that are coming up, and it's fun to be part of. You know, I've fallen pretty far in world rankings now, but at one point we were both 1 and 2 in the world, and very similar to what it was in the early '90s, late '90s and early 2000s when Duval and I were 1 and 2, and we both represented Nike. So to have you know have Nike a Nike presence out there like that, I think is fantastic. I just hope it'll be me soon. That's out there playing that well. But Rory right now is playing fantastically, and I'm sure he's going to continue to get better.
Bob? Yep.
Tiger, when you had the surgery back in March, you had said since then that leading up to that quality of life was rough. Could you talk about how you are now with not playing golf in that regard? And also, have you had any setbacks at all since the PGA?
Let's see. It's fun to go out there and be able to play soccer with my kids, and play and run around and have fun with them. That part I was missing a lot last year, end of last year and beginning of this year. I just couldn't do it, and you know, it's you never want to have your kids think that you know, you just can't do things with them because you physically can't. That was a tough time for me emotionally. But now I'm able to do anything I want with them, and it's a lot. Trust me, it's a lot. They don't stop. As my mom said, payback is something else, and she's right.
Tiger, Adam Shupak from Golf Week. Two questions, if I can. First being, what is the commitment to Isleworth and the Orlando market for this tournament?
So, I didn't hear you, sorry.
What is the commitment to Isleworth and the Orlando market for this tournament?
Well, I think it was a natural fit for us with Tavistock. This is where we've had Tavistock Cup for a number of years here or Lake Nona. This has been, my home golf course for the better part of 13, 14 years, and I think that when we were talking about it with Joe, we felt comfortable that it would be nice to come here and play this event here, and then the membership agreed, and hence that's why we're playing it here this year.
The Tavistock Cup used to go back and forth between here and Lake Nona. Do you foresee something like that?
I foresee us probably not doing that. Probably moving someplace else. And but as of right now, this year, we're excited about playing here at Isleworth.
And looking forward, do you have a sense of what your early schedule might be for the next season?
That's a great question. That's all dependent on how I feel and how I'm playing when I play in the Hero World Challenge here. That's something I'm curious about. I'm curious, just like I'm sure most of the media guys are here, how I'm going to be feeling, how I'm going to be playing, and if I don't have any setbacks or any pain, then I foresee a very full schedule next year.